didn't do well at all in that series. And Unicorns also picked themselves into a corner with their first picks.
Definitely. We saw a lot of first pick jungle for them, like Rek'Sai 3 games, 1 Gragas, which is not really something that favors Unicorns because Move is not the most impactful player on the team. So when you value his pick so highly that you sacrifice other members, then you put yourself in a disadvantage. Because if you've never watched Unicorns of Love before, it's all about the solo laners.
I want to see this final ban be the Vladimir and just completely take away Unicorns, or first pick the Vladimir, taking it away from Unicorns as well. That will put Exile on one of those B tier picks.
Exactly. You don't have to ban it, but you have to take it away from him because we want to see Exile play different champions and actually be successful on different champions. Whenever he's pulled out LeBlanc lately, it's not been that great for him. He's not played Taliyah yet. I mean, this is obviously a first pick Vladimir because you just ban Exile's main counter pick to it, and Cassiopeia is banned on the other side. So Unicorns should just ban Vlad here, to be honest, and don't play with fire. Just respect it.
I actually really like this from Giants, because what we were talking about before we were going on air is like, are they literally just going to copy what happens in Krakow?
Why not?
The answer is yes. Vladimir gets banned, so Giants can't pick it. Now Unicorns, we have to see if they have anything else in the bag, which I hope they do over the last week or so.
Yeah, now because of all these target bans towards mid, there's quite a lot of options. We have a Sivir first pick, can be up there. We know Elise is a big pick from Maxlaw, specifically because he wants to try and snowball his own solo laners, funny enough, against the Unicorns of Love. Then there's always the top lane like Shen, Gnar, GP. There's actually a lot of top tier picks available. So right now, there's not a clear first choice. I like Sivir in almost every single situation. She's the best AD carry, so I think this is pretty smart from Lozak and Giants.
I want to see what the picks are from specifically the solo lanes, really, from the Unicorns of Love. Chachi has put a lot of focus towards Shen, and that's going to be first rotation as well. I was wondering if there was going to be a Gnar coming out. He's picked out a bunch recently, but personally I haven't been anecdotally super impressed by the pick, particularly before playoffs as well. And typically he does prefer the Shen. He will like someone to pick Gnar, and he'll pick something into it.
Yeah, so now we expect a pick like Gnar from Smitty J against Chachi, because Smitty J is very much his like carry top lane style. He wants to be on a split pusher. That's where like Gangplank doesn't fit all the European teams too well, because they want split pushing top laners very often. And while GP can split push, it's not his main role. He's just a fantastic team champion because of his global. He offers the fantastic scaling into late game fights. Things like Gnar, things like Irelia can really like just snowball the lane and just become that pure split pushing champion. And that's why a lot of these European teams like it against Shen, and we see it once again here from Smitty. They hovered GP for a second and then went back to the Gnar.
Well, with the Rek'Sai being taken off the table, they won't go towards the Gragas. They'll pick up the Elise here from Giants and the Gnar for top lane. So pretty much what you were just talking about.
Yeah, exactly. Like, this is a Maxlaw special. He wants to be on an early game jungler, and both these teams know how they want to play. Like, funny enough, they don't come in being like, what are we doing?
Yeah,
you know, they're like, Unicorns is about the solo laners, Giants is about the solo laners, especially like just the overall the top side half of the map, the Holy Trinity with Maxlaw, Smitty J, and Knight together. So you need a champion that can snowball these early picks and also set Chachi and Exile back, put them underneath the other Giants members.
We'll see, we'll see. We've got 5 seconds left until Unicorns pick up their next 2 picks. And what will it be? Veritas on a supporty ADC, makes a whole lot of sense. Done really well on Ashe so far. And Nidalee going to the jungle for moves, so going to be more aggressive here. We typically see him on Gragas or Rek'Sai, so we'll see how he does on Nidalee.
Yeah, again, I think Move is the kind of guy who doesn't excel when it comes to like great jungle pathing and out jungling, out tempoing the enemy jungler. He's more of a guy you just put on a team fighting champion or like an early ganker like Elise. So this is a bit of a surprise. Also, I actually don't like Nidalee with Shen at all. I think Shen is really good with champions who wants to dive in towards the backline. Nidalee is the opposite. She stays back. She wants to poke, heal the AD carry up, buff the attack speed. Like, you have 3 champions from Unicorns of Love who very much wants to sit in the backline, and then you have a champion like Shen who wants to dive the enemy backline. So they don't actually align right now. And I don't think we're going to see a mid lane pick that wants to dive the backline either. I would like to see Taliyah though, just to switch over to Giants here. I think it is such a good pick right now, and it's a pick we know Exile has been playing a little bit of, or he's tried at least when we watched some of the solo queue games. Doesn't get to show it this game.
I think it puts more of a pinch as well on that mid lane from Exile, because if that was one of the picks that has transitioned into his like quote-unquote A-tier picks, then we'll see where he goes from here. I mean, they have the Karma as a flex, So they could put it in the mid lane for Exile, and then he takes that type of role. Trundle was also picked up for Giants into the top lane there from Smitty. For the bot lane, actually, for Hustlin.
Another counter to the Shen.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Another
so those resistances.
Another thing we see so often in Europe is like this Trundle support against Shen. Take all the stats away, as many as possible. And it's very good when it's only Shen right now diving the backline. Trundle Pillar is going to be enough peel then for your own squishies. So right now, I actually think Giants have a very solid draft with some good counter picks against Unicorns of Love here. And a lot of this comes down to move on Nidalee, because Nidalee is one of these champions that are either completely useless and we just like, oh, why are you playing Nidalee? It's garbage. Or you go 10-0 and be like, okay, you as a
god.
Yeah, you as a player are really good at Nidalee and you can make it work. But a lot of teams prefer Elise, Gragas, Rek'Sai above Nidalee right now. So this is definitely a tough task for Move, and I think Unicorns haven't really done themselves any favors in this pick and ban phase. Very, very risky pick and ban phase. Low amount of damage as well coming in, and if you start falling behind with Karma mid, Shen top, and Nidalee versus fantastic split pushing ability on the side of Giants and an early game jungler, then you're going to be in a pretty bad spot as the Unicorns of Love.
I'm really just going to track Move through this early game, because when I look at his games and then go back and watch them again, I'm just like, the pathing just doesn't make any sense, like, at all. And then he gambles all the time. And yes, Nidalee as a pick is a gamble, so it is super high risk, super high reward, but it can go so wrong.
It definitely can go wrong, but Unicorns feeling this first draft was, I mean, must have been what they planned, because it was very obvious what was going to happen with the first pick Vlad, then they banned it away. I'm not a fan, personally. Let's see what happens.
We'll see, Defish. You only have a couple of seconds left before we get into this one. So champions are locked in, players are ready. Time to find out who comes out on top in a percussion of Giants and a blessing of Unicorns matchup.
Unicorns have played a lot in playoffs, and we were able to see how they play and what their champion pool is, and so we can use that to our advantage.
I don't think it's going to be as easy, because they kind of saw what we play, but I think that we can definitely beat them.
And here we are, ladies and gentlemen, in-game. Giants and the Unicorns of Love getting into this best of 5. Winner here will advance to the next round in the gauntlet, be facing down Fnatic, and be trying to claim that world slot here from Europe.
And it's a long road if you're here playing the first stage of our regional qualifier, because you play already, as you said, tomorrow.
Yep.
You know, and then you play on Monday.
The day after.
The last one. You don't have a lot of time in between to fix whatever issues you do have. Obviously, both these teams want to just get a 3-0 and play like perfect League of Legends, and they don't have to fix anything. But let's be honest, Pulse, that's not going to happen. No. We will have one of these very bloody, messy games between both Giants and Unicorns, exactly like we had in the quarterfinal when these two teams faced each other.
I mean, exactly. We're looking at two teams here who like to fight a lot. I mean, Unicorns specifically do skirmish a lot. There is a lot of bloodiness in their early games. Whether they come out ahead or not in this skirmish is another issue entirely. But then Giants may get drawn into that. That's what we saw in the quarterfinals. And Giants are just strictly worse in those skirmishes, so they fell behind.
Yeah, and that's why this Unicorns draft is surprising, because this is not their typical style. Like, Exile normally needs to be on like a split-pushing champion that's really good at 1v1ing, think Kassadin or Ryze, or he goes on like the hard carry, like Vladimir, to win these late-game fights.
Right.
Karma's a lot more about buffing up mainly your AD carry, honestly, and protecting your AD carry. So these are the kind of comps, if you have a star AD carry, you can run. But they're very risky, because again, if you start falling behind, you don't really have any impact on this Karma. And if your AD carry is not, you know, good enough, well, then he's not going to win you the late game fights, even if you protect him. So this is definitely a risk and a change of style from Unicorns. And it's also a team who didn't get proper scrims. We have to remember that. It's not like they've been able to practice this kind of composition for the entire week, because they couldn't really scrim anyone.
Of course, a lot of the focus from Champion Select was aimed at the mid lane, which was mirrored from Krakow with H2K. And that has put them on the Karma now, as they use that as a flex. And let's see if Knight can punish him in the mid lane, picking up Talia as well, a pick that we know that Exile's been playing between Krakow and now. So,
I mean, the thing is, whenever you watch mid laners in solo queue, everywhere in the world, you get to see them play a lot of Talia. So it's not like the person can't play it at all, because we've seen all European mid laners use it in solo queue. It's more we haven't seen it on stage.
Yeah.
Clearly, the team hasn't felt comfortable picking it so far. This is also the first time Knight plays it himself, because he didn't play it in the quarterfinal when teams started picking up a lot in our region. He never got to play it there. He played 4 different mid laners. Didn't really do a whole lot on any of them, so he was quite a disappointment. And we want to see him take over a game like this. Perma push on Talia early game. Has to just respect the early trading from Karma. But then also he has the superior early ganker when he looks at the jungle. And when we look at the jungle, and we have Maxlow obviously on Elise, where Move wants to just power farm, sit down vision, and then start poking and sieging, really, as an Italy.
Interesting thing to note is Exile kills people a lot solo. Most of all mid laners actually were 25 so far on this split.
I think it's fair to say Exile has been like the success story for Unicorns of Love. He came in as a rookie. Didn't have the greatest start, but we got to see peaks of like some good performance and good mechanics. Let's see what happens mid perks here, because Move is coming in.
I mean, Knight just got pinned down. He's going to have to flash the spear and burn both of his summoners there in the mid lane.
Good little early gank from Move. Definitely not something Knight expected. 2 summoners gone. Let's see if Move can return. But yeah, again, Exile has just been this kind of guy who's just gotten better and better, more consistent.
Yeah.
I would like to say he's expanded his champion pool, but it's then declined again on this patch specifically, because he started playing a lot of Azir, a lot of Victor. Became like more of a team fighter instead of just being like a split pusher. If you guys remember the first few weeks of the split, we were looking at LeBlanc and Yasuo as picks like almost every game from the Unicorns and just playing 1-3-1. He has become more of a team fighter, but he's kind of being able to play both style. I just feel like the champion pool in itself, the champs he plays effectively, is kind of shrunk on this patch and just become like Kassadin, Ryze, and Vladimir.
I mean, he's definitely grown as a player. Got Hussein aggressing in the bot lane. Hillstein's going to come in with the combo there onto Sunstar. Return a bit of damage onto Veritas. Hussein gets up in the face of Ashe as well. So returns some damage, but fairly even Stevens in the bottom lane. Slight advantage to Unicorns, but nothing really to write home about. Do you want to talk about the top lane matchup though? Because Chachi got his preferential Shen there as they first rotationed it. Top lane as well. Smitty also got his Gnar. And I want to see how that matchup goes as well, because Chachi can be a big carry for this team. Likewise, Smitty, but I think on paper, a lot of people would give that to Chachi.
Yeah, again, I agree. I think Chachi is a fantastic top laner, but I don't think Shen in this kind of composition is that strong of a pick. Because he can literally only ulti on the Alistar if he wants to dive the backline. But you don't typically want to use your Shen ulti on Alistar. Like, you want to use it on something like Hecarim. Another trade bottom lane, Sunstar taking a lot of damage.
He's good for now. Veritas able to put a lot of damage down with that Ranger's focus, and he'll go back to farming. But Hillstein doing a great job of controlling this bottom lane right now of the Alistar.
And this is one thing we can see from the Unicorns draft, and that might have been the plan from the get-go, is punish the enemy 2v2 lane. A lot of people voting for Giants in this one.
5 people. 3 votes to Giants.
4 people Giants, 1 for Unicorns. But I see a lot of trading, and I see on the minimap also Maxwell hitting the bottom lane. So let's talk about it after.
Hillstein getting caught out. He's not level 6 yet, so we'll be able to get out. He'll flash over the pillar. Maxwell going to follow up the repel as well. Here comes the TP in from the top lane. Everyone's TPing into the bottom lane. In fact, Exile jumps on top of Maxwell. It's BJ coming in as well. There's the ultimate onto 2. Knocked back from the Talia. Actually not putting him into his team. Knight may have just saved both of those players from the Unicorns, and Knight will walk away from this one.
Man, they were stunned, and he then positioned his W wrong and actually knocked them away. That could have been an easy first blood for Giants. A big mistake from Knight. At first, it was like, oh, maybe he placed it, and then they got knocked into the wall.
He hit them, but
he
just
did
the
hit
wrong
them,
way.
But, like, knocked them the other way. That's a first blood for your team. Double TP bottom lane always favors a Shen because he has another global coming up very soon. Chachi actually ended up using both.
Wow.
No, I just TP back top.
Oh, okay. I was going to be like, what? He
whoa, he TP bottom and canceled it and ulted instead. No, he just TP back top.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I was going to say it would have otherwise favored him because he could have that second global, but he valued getting the farm on top side very clearly, and that's why he TP's back to the top lane. But with Unicorns, what we could see with this composition is because Giants bottom lane is so weak 2v2, not the composition or the champions, but the players, you pick a comp that at level 6 has like 3 dives. Ashe Arrow, Alistar ulti, and then you add Shen ulti on top of that. Like, you can camp that bot lane, send it in Italy to add extra poke, and that bot lane gets destroyed under a tower, and there's a constant risk of dying under the tower. They're fighting over blue buff pulse. Yeah,
but Exile's coming in there as well. Maxwell will come up with the repel and try and get away, but he's still going to be stunned down. Knight over the wall does knock them in the right direction this time. volley over the wall will be enough damage. Maxwell is coming back and forth, but that's the first blood to Exile. Knight just unable to get involved, and Smitty not there in time.
Maxwell staying around for such a long time. Not sure if he was trying to bait anything. When they got knocked back, the two members from Unicorns, I think he could just try to walk out. That would have definitely been his best way to survive, but it was like he wanted to wait for cooldowns and then hope that Knight could move around and actually do something. But Giants, second fight in a row where I feel like we see some weird decisions.
Yeah.
And now Unicorns with the first blood.
Bot lane getting a little bit punished. Veritas kite away here, but yeah, very, very weird in the jungle. Just that trade in general. But the first blood to Unicorns, and we had some questions about Moo playing Nidalee, also his jungle pathing. And he actually invaded and got something done. Yes, okay, it was, of course, from a mistake as well from Giants, but Move doing well with this pick that I, for one, was a little skeptical about.
Yeah, the good thing for Move is this matchup specifically against Maxlaw. When they played in a quarterfinal, Move actually did really well, like out-jungled him,
Swing
to
and a
be
miss.
honest. He,
Warning shot.
Warning shot, yeah. Just saying, I don't need this cooldown.
Yeah.
Go back to the lane now.
Yeah.
But no, so Move actually out-jungled him. Let's see what happens here. So he goes in still to poo buff. Exile is already here. Look at your mid lane, guys. Knight is still clearing out the wave. So now Maxwell should not try and contest this one. His own mid laner is not there, and his own top laner is not there. That's very basic League of Legends, is if your team can't move, don't try and contest something like a buff. And now he ended up staying around. Didn't try and like just walk out at first because he wanted to see if he could hide in the bush maybe. Buy a bit of extra time, land the cocoon, and then set up a kill for Knight.
Yeah.
But just a really bad decision in the first place. Your two soul laners are busy. They're not able to roam. You do not start contesting them, even in your own jungle, because the enemy mid laner, enemy top laner can show up before your team, and then you get punished and you die. But yeah, Move against Maxlaw. Move actually at like 15 plus CSD on average over the 4 games at 10 minutes. Sorry, 15 minutes. Like big difference. And he's doing the same thing again here. Obviously, he's on Nidalee, a power farmer. Maxlaw just does not have Move's number. Where junglers like Yankus and Trick were able to punish Move every game.
Now, Move a level and a half ahead. Significant farm lead as well in the jungle. Back to the mid lane. Exile going to be knocked into those stone mines here from Knight. And mid lane just kind of going back and forth. Slight advantage to Exile. Also, that kill has helped him out. I don't think he's even gone back since getting that kill. No, he's got 2k in the bank, so he's ready to go back and pick up some items. Move heading into the jungle once again. Probably going to place down some wards. There you go. And we'll see what he picks up. I want to see what Exile picks up here.
Well, he's going to get his Morel Nomicon for sure. Once he does go back, big power spike for him. And now this is what I wanted to see. This is what I talked about like 2 minutes, 3 minutes ago. Nidalee goes towards the lane you want to basically set up a siege in front of. That is the bot lane in this case, and you just start throwing spears. And if you land 1 or 2, well, then you force them back. If they stay, you have Alistar, and you just dive them.
And there's the dive. He's got level 6. He's gone brick wall. Will Hudson dropping low. He's underneath the tower. Veritas trying to put the damage down, but he's running out of the ultimate. And Veritas caught under fire. Turns around the volley, and Sansa and Hudson both survive from that dive.
Yeah, you even had Shen ulti to use here to guarantee those kills and force Giants away and get that first tower. But I think Chachi was fighting.
Oh! Snipe down from Move. The Korean sniper.
I like the spear. Sunstar dies with flash. And also a quote from a great philosopher. His name is Sven.
Sven, yeah.
Is that you can't get hit by a spear if you have a mouse. I'm not sure when he's from. He's a famous guy. I think maybe back in ancient Greece or something.
Got it, got it.
But
does that account for whether you have vision of them, or is it just all times?
well, seeing as he didn't have full vision,
Yeah.
we can kind of accept he didn't dodge with the mouse, but then you have flash.
Got it.
And like
Okay.
you will see the spear in time.
So if you have a
I didn't
keyboard,
expect
then there's no way. Smitty gets into Mega Form. He's trading up against Chachi. I feel like Chachi's actually just winning this one-on-one, though. Straight up, I have no idea what Smitty was thinking. Jumping into a Shen so he can land his full combo on you and get the dash through with Q. Don't understand it.
I'm really confused, False, with how Giants are playing this first game. I'm actually not confused. I'm not surprised, because this is what happens when a team hasn't been able
We
to
set it up.
practice.
This is what we said before the game.
Yeah, like, a team literally went out and said, we haven't been able to practice because of internal issues. Now Knight is gonna die.
He's low on mana. He's gonna pop the Q. Serious enough down onto Exile. No, it's not. Chachi dives him with low HP. He's good to go. Or maybe not. Max Door. Smitty J will finish him off. Gets a bit of revenge. Move now trying to pounce away, but he's niddling. There's no catching that kitty. Meanwhile, in the bottom lane, Huston and Sunstar chasing after Hillisang. But again, it's just a bit of trading. In fact, Huston, he's just going too deep. May even pay for it for his life, but Subjugate will keep him alive. Hillisang has his ultimate, but won't need to pop it just now.
A lot of fighting, as expected as well. Like every lane consistently or constantly just fighting each other. Junglers have been joining here and there. Mainly Move though, and also with that great snipe in the bottom lane. Maxlore not really been able to have much of an impact early on here. Was only part of the 1 kill on top side, and that's been it. And now we're back to sieging bottom lane, guys. Remember, Shen has an ulti. If you just send in the Alistar, you can just Shen ulti onto him as well, and it's much easier to guarantee these kills, or at least guarantee the first tower. Now there are 4 members here though, that should be enough to force Giants away. Place the ward behind like they just did. That's a ward for Shen to TP on and also to get vision of the remaining Giants members moving to defend the tower. And there we go.
Oh, the flash, the headbutt, the pulverize, the TP on top as well. Into the taunt to Hustlin. He's not going anywhere with no flash. Nice kill to Unicorns.
And this time around they do get the kill. Pull off the full combo, and this is what we mentioned with this pick and man phase. It seemed like the goal for Unicorns was just punish the weak bot lane of Giants. Have a composition that can dive really, really easily, force fights, and then have that Shen ulti as backup or even more threat, and just secure that first tower in the bottom lane. Big advantage for Unicorns, 3,500 gold. And the best thing Giants have been able to do so far is get a bit of damage on this top tower.
Yeah, nice first tower kill of the game as well. Lots of gold in the Unicorns' back pocket. And Exile, 3-0. I think of all the questions that at least I had, a lot of analysts had, whether how these players specifically go and perform has been a little bit solved, but we can see this dive in the top lane. I mean, Knight, he missed a Z, he missed his combo, and then he's dead.
And he's dead, but he did buy some time, dancing around, and wasn't enough time for Maxwell and Smitty to join and pick up that 1 kill in return. Problem is now you also lose the wave in mid lane if you are obviously the Thalia bot. Not the end of the world with the 1-for-1. The problem was what's going to happen on the bot side, because now Smith J had no TP either.
Right.
So you're like, we have no teleport against the Shen and an Alistar Ashe, so now our bot lane is going to die. That's actually where normally you would just leave the lane. Just be like, peace out. They're going to get this first tower. We can't do anything about it. They're trying to swap to top side instead and see if we can trade towers. They did stay on the bottom side, however, and they got punished for it. And still lost the tower. They're now trying to swap to top. And they will be able to pick up this tower here, but now Unicorn should just go mid. Just all in mid now. You got 3 members mid. Don't chase for kill, just take tower.
You just saw that graphic as well. Unicorns have loved ticking a lot of those boxes. 80% win rate when they get that first tower, the first dragon, etc. And they've gotten a lot of firsts in this game. 5-1 so far, 50-minute mark. Significant gold lead. Doing well in pretty much every lane. And yeah, Unicorns, just kind of what we expected, to be honest.
Yeah, definitely feels like watching the quarterfinal all over again, honestly. Where Unicorns just had a much better early game in almost every game except for game 2. And that was the game they lost, funny enough. Unicorns' problem in the quarterfinal was once they got this big lead, they actually were pretty slow at finishing games. It took them like quite a while to get past the mid game. They had to go into like late game and pick up like a 35-minute Baron, and then they could finish despite having like big goal leads. So that's one thing we can judge and look at in this game. But it's hard to really criticize anything Unicorns have done here in the start. Yeah, okay, you can maybe argue should have Shen TP'd on the first dive.
Sure.
But like again, that's nitpicking. They have been outplaying Giants so far.
But Giants aren't really able to get their composition running, right? Like, they're falling behind. They can't really use the split push very well right now. I mean, Chachi is doing pretty decently in that lane, so he's going to be a big blocker for the Nara if he wants to split push. And in general, Nara, or rather Giants, are just being again pulled into a Unicorns of Love game where they fight a lot and Unicorns get more kills.
Yeah, definitely, and Unicorns have been able to use globals way better than Giants. Whenever we had these 1v1s. And the thing about when you play against Shen is not you're no longer, like, you're never actually afraid of like straight up losing the lane to the Shen. The question is just like how long do you need before you really take over the lane completely? Yeah. And if a Nara does get an early kill or two, it can go very quickly. Like, you get your Black Cleaver before Shen maybe has his first full tank item completed, you really take over that lane. Now it is delayed because Chachi has gotten a lot of early items, and that just means it's going to be even for longer. Yeah. And then that buys time for Unicorns to make plays around the map and just use Chachi TPing away from that lane and join the team. Smitty J will not be able to join as fast. There's a 2-second difference between Shen ulti and a teleport. So you will always have Chachi showing up first. And now Exile. Proper team player, Pauls. You know, when your mid laner gets 3 kills, normally The ego is growing, you
Yeah.
know. He's like, guys, I will solo carry.
Build the big items.
Yeah, I want Death Cap straight away, the Magic Hat, and then I will just win this game alone. But Exile, who is a very nice guy, was like, no. I will make my AD carry this game.
Yeah.
Ardent Center, second item for him. It's all about buffing up Veritas. And also Punish Knight.
Yeah, he's also got a decent amount of damage in the mid lane, chasing after Knight as well. Auto attacks are coming in. Last Q as well. The flash, the auto follows him. Exile with another 1v1 kill.
Number 26 for Exile.
Added to the counter.
He's the player in Europe with the most solo kills. And number 2 is actually Chachi, funny enough.
Yep.
Unicorns are getting a lot of solo kills normally.
He got one in the top lane when Smitty suicides
Exactly,
into
that
it.
was one for him.
Well
So
played, Chachi.
a little bit of a Lord of the Rings thing going on here. We'd have to count the kills. Gimli versus Legolas. Who's Gimli here?
That's true. Maybe Chachi, because he's like melee. Oh,
Chachi's
oh
Gimli.
move.
All right, Exile's a Legolas.
Maybe moves Legolas in this game, though. Holy crap.
And also, there's actually someone with a bow. But Veritas, you're not Legolas.
Yeah, get out of
No.
here. No, Exile.
You're not cool enough.
No, he doesn't have the solo kills. He's always got someone by his side.
I feel like Unicorns pulls are taking over the game.
You think?
And almost no
3 towers to 1.
no
Big
matter
gold
what
advantage.
they do, it just seems to work. Like, land every ability in the enemy mid lane and then
Yeah.
flash too late. TP top, this might be the comeback.
Man, it feels so slow now with the TP, but here comes Maxlaw. Smitty, he's almost into mega form. Hillisang is taking a lot of damage. Veritas only now jumps away. There's the big Nora ultimate of the 3, but he doesn't get a lot of stuns. There's a first go on tonight, and this is quickly going wrong for the Giants lineup. Move sniping down from the sidelines. Chachi with the kill. Huston trying to dive into the bush. Sunstar is the last one remaining. He'll flash away the combo, but the spear will land. 4-0 Unicorns, complete domination of this game.
Yeah, it was Giants trying to set up a play here. They knew it was a very tough call, very hard play to execute, but you are this far down already. They just wanted to try. Sadly for them, it now looks even worse than it did before. Not only did you spend a lot of abilities and cooldowns, you also gave away 4 kills to the Unicorns and a Baron.
Oh man, it just spawned as well. The instant spawn on that Baron. I actually wonder what like the fastest Baron time is of all spit. It's going to be obviously someone taking it as soon as it spawns, but that was 14 seconds. So it took 14 seconds to burn that.
I remember another
Baron.
game we had in Europe, it also got taken like super quick.
Yeah.
Might have just been about 10, maybe 15 seconds. So this is the setup. Get Smitty J in there with Meganar. Actually, Talia got interrupted, so her wall didn't go up. And it's a good ulti from Smitty J, but the problem is there's no follow-up. You already spent like all your cooldowns trying to engage in the first place, and no one can actually dive in with you other than the Talia, but Talia didn't get to follow. So here we are, Pols.
Here we are, Deficio.
And look at the battlefield. There's 4 dead members from Giants.
The remains of Giants' corpses everywhere. Percussion of Giants not doing so hot. But they may get a gank onto this stray Unicorn in the bottom lane. He's all by his lonesome.
He's not even
Unfortunately, this
taking damage.
Unicorn is just not even taking damage at all. They only got through the shield, and he just shrugs off the damage. That was 3 members committed to Chachi.
Unicorn's gonna take a mid tower instead. Smitty J, you better jump
Cheese
away.
it. All right, he's good.
Smitty J, not Jesus.
I said cheese it, not
Oh, I
Jesus.
thought it said Jesus.
No, he is the Holy Trinity. Not so hot this game, Deficio.
No, definitely not.
He's not part of the Holy Trinity today. More like Illuminati. As Unicorns, I mean, this is one of those games, right? You're in solo queue and you're just like, you're 110, you have a 10,000 gold deficit, and you're like, it's just open mid.
Yeah, I mean,
And this
Europe,
time it's a best of 5, luckily.
Europe,
so.
obviously, you would have said open mid around minute 8 or 9,
Yeah.
probably. The classic European mentality, but that's not something we want to teach.
No, Giants
people
are in their
here
promos.
at all. Yeah,
They got this
Giants
best
in
of
the promos,
5.
they wanna keep
They're losing
trying.
game 1. But don't worry, guys. They've got plenty more to go.
Oh man, I mean, if you had any confidence going into this game in the first place, it's completely gone now.
Yeah.
Like, you just got destroyed. And you even had a good draft. I like Giants' draft here. It's definitely not bad.
Oh, Maxlaw, no, not like this. He's dead. He's done. Hustle knocked into the team. He's just a lonely trundle. Nobody loves him. Dash after Sunstar, he'll walk it off. Double kill to Veritas, panning out those stats. Exile, of course, all the buffing coming out from him in the mid lane, allowing Veritas to get these kills. Oh, what a team player. What a taunt from Chachi. Double kill up there in the top lane. Basically the base of Giants. Nice, the only one remaining. He's getting auto-attacked to death by Exile, and that's a 5-0. The clean ace for Unicorns of Love. This game's a whitewashed officio.
Definitely is. 1 kill only for Giants and 1 tower. That's all they got. And Unicorns of Love, 23 minutes into the game. 2 inhibs going down. Might not be able to straight finish it because there is... Actually, no, that's like 18 seconds on Knight. Just go for the
give
tower.
It a shot. Yeah, Maxor, he's sidestepping spears. He's getting taunted by Chachi. Tower's dying. 23 minutes into the game. And Unicorns, what a game from them. Just all over Giants. And they're going to focus down the Nexus here. Chachi, everyone, just pounding on the Nexus, panning out their stats as well. Trying to get that KDA rolling. And Chachi's going to be knocked into the tower, but that's the Nexus going down. Game 1 to the Unicorns.
Fastest game of the split. I feel like the first game shows the trend of this series, and we can book a table around 9 o'clock and go get some dinner.
Some
this could be a very, very quick one. Giants, again, I felt like draft was okay.
I like the draft.
They forgot to load into the game,
well.
obviously, and that was a problem. They got absolutely destroyed.
Yeah, can you say bodied? That was game 1 of this
every
best
lane.
of 5.
Every lane got destroyed, and then they play in the bottom lane. The second time around when they got to play in the bottom lane, Giants honestly didn't even look like a team. They were just 5 individual players.
Yep.
And Unicorns, obviously, while yes, they have lost in the semifinal, lost in the third place game, they've gotten a lot of practice on this patch against a lot of the best teams in Europe.
Yep.
So they're obviously looking way, way better than a team who's barely practiced for 3 weeks.
And that's exactly what we saw. We put it all into practice. And Giants, okay, they did copy the style that we saw come out from H2K, or rather the strategy that we saw from them basically carbon copied into this game, ban out Exile in the mid lane, force them on something else, take away some of these other picks, and then that still wasn't enough because they couldn't execute in-game. And from there, I'm just thinking, well, what do Giants do? Like, what can they improve on from game to game now?
Everything.
Because well, yeah, but how can they do it in the next, like, 5 minutes or so while they're off stage? I just don't see what Giants do from here.
No, I think all you can do as Giants is honestly start almost laughing at this game and just kind of forget it.
Yeah.
And then go in with the next game with the mindset of there's nothing to lose because we are right now a weaker team. If we, if we feel pressured, if we feel nervous, then we're never going to win. So maybe just go like, guys, just get comfort picks, try and play aggressive early on and see if you can punish Unicorns for the way they're playing. And see if you can actually win the early game. I mean, that seems to be the only way for Giants, judging from game 1 and also the quarterfinal they played against each other.
I think we can look at the quarterfinals as well, because if you have a team who hasn't practiced versus Unicorns, who we've seen very actively, like, we're basically going to get a very similar series, if not the same one. And it may be even worse for the Giants if they get 3-0'd here, and that's what the analyst desk was saying as well. So, really?
Yeah, it's bad when the analyst desk actually look to have the correct predictions for once, because we normally have the opposite.
Usually awful, yeah.
Like normally we're terrible at predicting, but right now, judging from game 1, it looks pretty good for Unicorns.
Yeah, I'm predicting a 3-0 here after that game.
Solid prediction,
either way, the Unicorns have fired their first shot in this best of 5 over Giants. So let's head over to the analyst desk to break down how it happened.
Now you decide to predict. Now, after that game, I'm not letting you off the hook for that one, Pulse. That is just shocking.
Look, play-by-plays stick together. We're consistent with the 3-0 predictions.
Well, talking about play-by-plays, I want to ask Perk something that I was thinking when I saw picks and bans. Initially, I felt like Unicorn's draft was sort of very early to mid-game focused, and like scaling was more on the side of Giants. Do you think that's fair to say? And what did you think of both teams' comps?
Well, somewhat fair to say, yeah, because Giants do have like Sivir and Gnar in later stages of the game, where like Gnar and 2 items can just pressure shine out of the lane in one side. But Unicorns do have like I don't know that much about the bot lane matchup, but I think it's like 5-5, and if Unicorns get to push in, they can easily set up dives with Nidalee, who is a pressure jungler, and Shen, who is good early game for diving bot lane. That's why Shen is picked. If you have like an equal or winning matchup, you can just dive bot. That's what they did, and I mean, also before that, there was like some trolling from Giants, so which made the game a lot easier.
I mean, I look at this draft, and I just have issues with the third ban from Giants. It's like, you banned the Cassidy, you banned the Ryze, it's good. You know you force Unicorns basically to ban the Vlad, or it's getting first picked by Giants. And then they ban a Nivea. Like, Cassiopeia is already out of there. I understand you don't want another kind of matchup into the Vlad, but do you really think Unicorns are going to just go like, I guess we'll let you first pick the Vlad? And then, because they ban a Nivea, Shen's available, Nidalee ending up further down the draft is available. So I take exception to, like, banning a Nivea and all-inning on your first pick being Vlad.
Yeah, but I mean, we're talking about Nidalee. When has move outside of banning the Rek'Sai been, Nidalee ban-worthy? The man is horribly inconsistent in the jungle. Like, you can't afford to focus your bans on move.
But then I would say Shen instead of the Nivea.
Oh, I would agree with Shen after that performance. Yeah,
Shen would be a good ban, yeah. Even though there's not much reason to ban Nivea because it's not that strong. You guess it's just like some counter to Vladimir, but it's not even counter to Vladimir because Anivia, the AD carries are play like Ashe and Jhin in Unicorns, and they have to go mid, and Anivia has to stay mid too, so no one can go silent. And Vladimir is like really OP on silence, so I don't think Anivia can counter Vladimir. Maybe on after level 6, but Vladimir can just equally farm. So there's no reason to ban it, but they just went with it.
If you're watching on YouTube, rewind and listen how when the Kung Fu Master speaks, everyone shut up. That was amazing. Just a quick update. I have heard that Giants have elected to take blue side once again in game 2. I'm going to try that one out. You were talking about move being horribly inconsistent. Max Law and some of the use perks as wording trolling. Is that the right term?
So as we look to pull up a replay here, we can look at some of the early game decision making coming in from Max Law, because I would say it wasn't just questionable. It was awful. We're actually going to take a look at this initial dive, it looks like, as we jump ahead here. And so this is less to do with Max Law, and this is actually one of the good instances for move. Of course, we're going to see some pretty clutch spears coming in.
This was not the replay that we wanted.
I mean,
but we're adapting on the fly.
I do believe that Sivir doesn't have a mouse. Can you guys agree with me?
Actually, this
Maybe
one...
don't see it here, but Sivir gets hit.
So
and he has, I don't know if he has Pulse Up, but he has mouse, and he has a flash. So he doesn't have keyboard or mouse, so he gets hit by it.
It's the keyboard and the brain was the problem on this one, because I went back and rewatched this and I was like, okay, he could have dodged it. So he chose not to dodge it because Spell Shield was up like the moment after the spear hit. So he was just like pressing Spell Shield, didn't flash. Like he could have flashed, could have dodged it.
I like that you're trying to save him here.
I'm not trying to save him. No. What I'm saying is he mistimed it, but that's why he just stands there and takes the spear. So
does have a mouse, confirmed.
Confirmed.
Made a bad decision.
So would you like to finish your story a little bit about Max Law?
All right, Max Law, smart player. What we're about to watch, this is stupid. He makes a very poor decision. We should pull this up here. This is Max Law fighting a level 6 Nidalee for blue buff when Exile has pressure in the mid lane and the freedom to roam. Now, it's really no surprise here to see Max Law get killed. Knight, I think, could have used the wall maybe to protect him here. Does throw down a decent bit of damage, but at the end of the day, whatever happens here mechanically, there is zero reason for Max Law to be here. He has no reason to contest this blue buff. He can go somewhere else.
No, but it's just miscommunication, because Knight is Korean, so it's hard to talk, you know.
Is it that simple? There's no other reason?
It happens to me in Trick too. Just miscommunication. Forgot to call mid-miss, so yeah. Sucks.
You make it sound so easy.
Yeah.
Look, I mean, Unicorns completely ran away with that game. They won by 23 minutes and 30 seconds on the clock. The predictions from 3-0-3-0, you actually think at some point Giants are going to win a game. Does this throw the fact Giants could win a game out of your mind a little?
No, but if Giants keep picking blue side, it does, because I think they need to get one good matchup for themselves. I think the Na had the potential to be a good matchup if it started going that way. But if you don't have a pick for one side, I don't buy Knight if he has to like blind pick, or not blind, but pick Tillia into flex. I wasn't impressed.
If Knight is the guy that also has to step up, he has to be talking to his jungler and not let some of those miscommunications happen. Do you think there's any way Giants can sort of deal with that level of aggression that Unicorns put forward? You know, like how do you bounce back going into game 2?
I think Giants have no hope, but that's just what I think. If I was Giants, I would went for bot lane that's like 5-5, like again, and then top lane that's should be a winning matchup, even though I think Nar is like 5-5 with Chen, and he should win on one item, but he didn't win on one item, so I guess he just misplayed. And mid, I think, has to be the pressure point for them. And also, I think very important is jungle matchup. I think Max needs to have a stronger jungle matchup, because Nidalee...
Simple, just those few things.
Because Nidalee versus Elise is like, if Nidalee gets a bit ahead, my trick says game boom, the game is over. But like Nidalee got ahead and he was still like equal farm to Elise, which if it was Spirit Nidalee to this Elise, Elise wouldn't be able to farm. So I think Move could have still played better with his advantage, but I guess the game was just over from
I mean, yeah.
other lane, you know.
Could have done better. They still won in 23.5 minutes. Gentlemen, that is about our time for now. We're going to take a quick break. Don't go anywhere. When we come back, we'll have Game 2 of the European Regional Qualifier between Giants and the Unicorns of Love.